Today on NFL Draft by Chat Sports, I'm going to be breaking down my list of 14 winners from the East-West Shrine Bowl held this week in Arlington, Texas. Of course, the game was last night, but most of my takeaways actually, guys, come from the meetings, come from the practices, and of course, the game itself last night. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button, and make sure you give me a follow on X. Going to be putting out a bunch of NFL draft content on my Twitter here over the next several months before the big day comes in Green Bay in a couple of months. So make sure you give me a follow at Jack_Sperry for daily NFL draft content from me here at Chat Sports. So before we get into the list today, I wanted to let you guys know that my list is composed of the biggest winners from the entire week. So that includes meetings, practices, and then the game. It's not just the game itself. The game ended up being 25-0. Really boring game, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. But, you know, the stuff that came out of practices I thought was very, very interesting. And the first person on my list is actually somebody that didn't practice or play at all during the week, and that is Shedeur Sanders. Now, Shiloh Sanders did practice, didn't have a great week of practice, if I'm being completely honest with you. But Shedeur was apparently very, very impressive in the meetings and the interviews that he had during the week. And I've been told that he met with all three teams in the top three of the NFL draft this week during the Shrine Bowl meetings. And apparently they all went over an hour and they all went very positively. So Shedeur Sanders is making an impression in these meetings. Apparently he is doing a very good job on the whiteboard, all these different things. And I think that he did help himself out in terms of his ability to potentially go in the top 10 or potentially even top 3 in the NFL draft this year. Then another quarterback that did practice, was on the field, and I thought had the best overall week was Kyle McCord, former Ohio State and Syracuse quarterback. He's currently ranked 136 on the Pro Football Focus big board, and there's a lot of people that, you know, put McCord now in the conversation for QB3. Now, everybody has their choice of QB3, right? Some people have Dillon Gabriel. Some people have Jackson Dart. Some people have Jalen Milroe. Some people have Kyle McCord. I will say McCord has a little bit of a funky, kind of longer throwing motion, but he does do a good job getting through his reads, and he does throw the ball with general accuracy to all levels of the field. I don't think it's a high-level NFL arm either, but I do think he's somebody that could potentially be a decent backup in the National Football League. For me personally, I don't have McCord in my top 5 quarterbacks list right now, but I certainly think that he might be worth a dart throw probably on early day 3, probably around round 5. So let me know down there in the comment section, who is your QB3 in this year's draft class? Do you like Jackson Dart? Do you like Dillon Gabriel? Do you like Jalen Milroe? Do you like Kyle McCord? Somebody else? Let me know down there in the comment section. Outside of Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, who is QB3 in this year's draft class? This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time. But let me know who's QB3 in this year's draft class. Another quarterback that I thought did well by himself in practice this week was Max Brosmer out of Minnesota. Now, Brosmer was constantly under pressure in the game itself, so the offense for that team and the team that he was playing for wasn't doing a very good job moving the football. But I thought during the week he showed off the arm strength and he showed off the mental processing ability that really led to his very strong second half of the 2024 regular season with the Minnesota Golden Gophers. For me, I think if you're a team that plays in a colder environment, you need somebody with a stronger arm and you want a day 3 dart throw on like round 5, 6, maybe 7. I think that Max Brosmer is the type of guy that you will be looking for. And then somebody that I think was probably the biggest riser and helped himself the most this week in practice was NDSU quarterback Cam Miller, who wasn't even ranked on the Pro Football Focus big board heading into Shrine Bowl week, but he made some impressive plays. He was the best quarterback on the field during the game itself last night, made some nice throws outside of the pocket and on the run. I don't think he's necessarily anything special. I think if he gets drafted, it's going to be in either round 6 or round 7. Not the strongest arm in the world, but he pretty much went from somebody that wasn't really on anybody's radar to somebody that is going to probably get some looks towards the end of day 3. For NFL teams here. Some running backs I thought had some really good weeks this week was Jacory Croskey-Merritt. He got 2 touchdowns in the game itself last night. And then overall during the week, he was very impressive in the drills. And Tahj Brooks at Texas Tech, probably the most highly touted running back that was at Shrine this week. He's somebody that's got a very thick 230-pound frame. He's a little bit smaller, but that the way that he is built certainly lends credence to him being a pretty decent power back that can also catch the football out of the backfield. So I kind of like Tahj Brooks as a day 3 running back here for some of these teams looking for running back help. Then when it comes to the offensive lineman, the guy that really stood out was Thomas Perry, center or interior lineman, out of Westbury. All right, or Middleburry. I didn't even know his name right. I mean, Division III Middleburry. This guy was playing center all week, and he was stonewalling some of the best defensive linemen in the country this week. He was super impressive. He works with Duke Manyweather. If you guys know Duke, he's the best offensive line coach in the world, and he's been working with him for the last 2 years. And his balance, his athleticism, his anchor was super, super impressive. And I think that probably the biggest winner of the week and the biggest riser might have been Thomas Perry. The center is what he was playing there at Shrine during this week of practice. So coming up here on NFL Draft by Chat Sports, we shift over to the defensive side of the ball. I got even more winners from the defensive side of the ball coming at you here in just a second. But first, let's have a word from our sponsor here at PrizePicks. And PrizePicks is the best way to get action on sports in more than 30 states, including California, Texas, Georgia, Florida, and more. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action all on your phone, and it's 100% free to download right now. Join over 10 million members and sign up today. PrizePicks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. The big game is almost here, and it's now or never. And I know you guys know what big game I'm talking about. It's Chiefs-Eagles to decide the champion of the NFL for this 2024-2025 season. So don't miss out on the last football game of the year with PrizePicks, the best place to win cash while watching the big game. PrizePicks is also giving away a free pick for the big game where one of the starting quarterbacks will only need to throw 1 yard to win. If you're correct on at least one more stat projection along with the free square, you win real cash. So this is how it works, guys. You put Jalen Hurts or Patrick Mahomes' free square up on there, and then you get one other projection correct, whether that's like A.J. Brown anytime touchdown or let's say receiving yards for Xavier Worthy, whatever the case may be. If you get it right, then you get real cash from PrizePicks for the big game. It's absolutely a fantastic deal, guys. So take advantage of that right now by downloading the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup when you download the PrizePicks app today. PrizePicks, run your game. The biggest winner at the edge rusher position at Shrine this week was Tyler Batty out of BYU. He was second in the Big 12 last year in pressures from the edge. He's kind of a bigger body. I thought that he had a really good spin move during the practices this week. And I think that, during the game, he was probably the most disruptive edge rusher on the field on Thursday night at AT&T Stadium. So big winner there. He's currently ranked 177th on the Pro Football Focus Big Board. He's currently ranked as the 25th edge. It's a very deep and very good edge rusher class, but I think Batty certainly helped out his draft stock with his performance at Shrine Bowl this week. Then we get to the interior defensive lineman, and let me tell you, man, it's a great edge rusher class. It's also a great D-tackle class, and Kenneth Grant was there for interviews this week at Shrine, and he was unbelievable apparently in those interviews, and he's telling people at Shrine this week that he's going to run a 4.840 at 340 freaking pounds, all right? So this guy, because of that, he's going to be my Sperry psycho of the day. And when you watch him on film, man, he definitely has that acceleration, that athleticism, where it honestly wouldn't surprise me if he ran a 4.8 at that massive 340 pounds. It's what he's been telling people this week at the Shrine Bowl, but he's somebody that can play, true nose tackle, obviously, at 340 pounds. He's an amazing, amazing run defender. I think that he's also going to be somebody that can attack pass rushers if you want to put him at 3 technique. I think he certainly has the skill set to do that, but I think that this guy certainly deserves to be a top 20 pick in the 2025 NFL draft because of the athleticism, because of the size, because of the functional strength, and then his pass rush and run defense skill set is off the charts. So he is my Sperry psycho of the day, Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle out of Michigan. Another player that I've really, really liked in practice this week, and Dane Brugler from The Athletic has certainly hyped him up quite a bit this week as well. Jordan Phillips, the nose tackle out of Maryland, currently ranked 275th on the Pro Football Focus Big Board. But after his performance at Shrine this week, I think that's going to go up a lot, all right? Like, this guy is a big body, but he's a very fluid mover, all right? So if you're looking for a nose tackle that plays with good pad level, can move relatively well and really be gap sound against an outside zone running scheme. And listen, man, there's a lot of Sean McVay, lots of Kyle Shanahan style offenses in the NFL today. You need nose tackles that can move a little bit, and I think that Jordan Phillips certainly fits that mold. He was absolutely dominant in practices this week, and I think that his draft stock is going to rise just about as much as anybody from the Shrine Bowl practices held this week. Then C.J. West, another nose tackle, was very impressive, very powerful hands. He really showed off a little bit of a pass rushing skill set as well, which is something that was a little bit of a question mark for him coming into Shrine Bowl week, but he's a little bit more highly touted than a guy like Jordan Phillips, for example. He's currently ranked 167th on the Pro Football Focus big board, but I thought he had a really good week, and I think he helped out his draft stock as well. Then J.J. Pegues here. Pegues, I don't know. I think, what's that? Pegues. Okay, there we go. 109th on the Pro Football Focus big board. Another guy that's extremely powerful. Somebody that I think could play nose if you asked him to, but can also play three technique. That he had a very good week, and his bull rush was definitely making an impact both against the run and against the pass this week in practices. Was really impressed by JJ's performance in practices this week. Then at cornerback, I got two winners, and the two best corners in attendance by far, in my opinion, were Cobee Bryant out of Kansas, then Noel Williams out of Cal. Noel is a little bit highly touted on the Pro Football Focus big board. Right now, Cobee Bryant, the thing about him is that he is rail thin, so that's going to be something, especially after the failure of Emmanuel Forbes in the National Football League, that people look at as something that's a little bit of a red flag. I thought Noel had some good moments, but also a little bit of inconsistency. But overall, these two guys, no question about it, were the best cornerbacks in attendance. And that'll be it for today's edition of NFL Draft by Chat Sports. Thank you for making it to the end of today's show. And listen, man, there's a lot of stuff talking about Senior Bowl and all this different stuff. If you're watching our Shrine Bowl video right now and you made it to the end, that makes you a real one, folks. So get down there in the comments section. Let me know who all the real ones are that came for the Shrine Bowl content and made it to the end of the show. And tomorrow it is the 2025 Senior Bowl game. We're going to see a lot of the top prospects in this year's NFL draft compete there in Mobile, Alabama. It's going to be super fun. Tom Downey's going to have you guys covered with his winners and losers from the game tomorrow afternoon. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button for our extensive coverage of the Reese's Senior Bowl here in 2025. And if you want to know which players at the Senior Bowl had the best overall weeks, yesterday we put out our video of Senior Bowl winners for the first 3 days of Senior Bowl practice. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button for the most in-depth NFL draft coverage you're going to find anywhere here on YouTube. I greatly appreciate your support. Until next time, guys, peace.